Alright, welcome to the InstaSim channel. Today I'm playing Doki Doki Literature Club once again. In the last episode, holy moly, this game is weird. So, in the last episode, it was supposed to be the day of the festival, and then we actually realised that Sayori has killed herself, and then we sort of started again. And now we've only got the three girls left, Natsuki, Yuri and Monika. And now we're on a poetry read again. Oh boy, this game is messing with my brain. Let's see what we need to do. Okay. Heaven Sent. Let's do that one, that sounds fun. Ocean. Broken. Massacre. Tenacious. Effulgent. Sensation. Music. Kitty. Contamination. Dark. Entropy. Rain cloud. Skipping. Treasure. Misfortune. Strawberry. Sugar. Marshmallow. Disown. There we go. This is going to be a dark poem from us for a change. Hi again, InstaSim. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Haha. Don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep to my word. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise. What the hell was your face doing? I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Ah! No. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. This doesn't have jump scares, it has freaking weird photography. You already had to be dragged here by Monika. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Why have you covered half the flippin' text? But Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, InstaSim. Well, make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Yuri sees Natsuki with a disappointed glance. Anyway, now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have interest in picking up a book to read. Well, I can't really say no either way. Oh, right click just disappears the thing. Oh, that's interesting. That helps a little bit. Like you said, I'm in this club now, so it only feels right for me to do something like that if you ask. But wait, I didn't mean like that. If you don't really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. No, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be a part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you wanted me to. Are you sure? I just feel like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you, I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew! Well, you can read it at your own pace. Look, I look forward to hearing what you think. Why is the music changing tempos? Now that everyone's settled in, I expect Monika to kick off some scheduled activities for the club, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of a book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Ah, crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in a book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book that you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Ah, well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about anyway? Well, I look at the cover of the book. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's all about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. And the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. What kind of book is this? But the facility gets even worse and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. What are you reading? The book, I mean. Not the thing about the limbs. That's kind of dark, isn't it? You made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Instant? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri's into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind of that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be the evil, but because the world is full of horrible people and we're all worthless anyway. What kind of text is that? Then suddenly, I'm rambling, aren't I? No, it's fine. Shush. It's fine. Go back to reading. Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologise. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should really let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, my whole body gets... What? I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. What was the last thing you said? So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Please don't do that. I mean, you don't have to, but... No, what are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I stay here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I'm thinking about this. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realise that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just bathing in the... What? Yuri, you really apologise a lot, don't you? I do. I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean, she must be British, that's why. Aha. Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's and then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. Ah, I do the same with my right arm and the right side of the book. That way I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to the side. To her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? Eh? To turn the page. Ah, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. Ah, that's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do. Since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she's finished the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be silly of thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. Eh? No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking the way that she second guesses things she says and all that. Ah, that's what you were talking about. Sorry, I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet. So I don't know why that came into your head. Oh no. Please, don't tell me that her limbs get severed. Yuri, are you feeling alright? Hey? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... My breathing? Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that on about? Insta-Sim, did something happen just now? Eh? I have no idea. I honestly don't know either. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess. So, you don't know anything? Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her? Oh no, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her. No, nothing. Aha, don't worry, I believe you, silly. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming. Alright, if you say so. Anyway, why don't we start with sharing our poems with each other? Eh? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I just figured we'd get started without her. Look, something has already happened in this game, and I'm not looking forward for another thing to happen that's fairly similar, okay? So I think we have to wait for Yuri. Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up. Oh no. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. We'll share it with Monica first. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem and I wanted her to know that I'm putting in effort. Hi Insta-Sim, having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Aha! Don't worry, Insta-Sim. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? It's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. Great job, Insta-Sim. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. Nah, that's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism? Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean like that like it's a bad thing though. But sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that it's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, but don't blame her for coming on a little strongly. Like earlier, I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. Suddenly, the door opens. Yuri! I'm back! Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Eh? Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologise. We still have plenty of time, so I'm glad that you took all the time you needed. Alright. Thanks, Monica. I suppose I should get my poem now. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims not to be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know. I see. Well, let's read it then. Hole in wall, but he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glanced at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see colour. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper? The sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks in my ears. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. Yeah, that's quite a dark poem now. Okay. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. Aha, it's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can really be powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Something when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is, if you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for the day. Thanks for listening. Right. Yuri will be my next. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional! Wow, I was not expecting that from Yuri. Hey, what was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth but then ends up covering her whole face. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. Eh? I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Aha. Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Absolutely none. Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just mean, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most notable thing I recognise in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanour totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri's apologized to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thoughts process behind it. Yuri smiles genuinely as if that's a rare opportunity for her. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Right, I think this is the same poem that she wrote the first time. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow, bathing. It must be this one, the last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. Yeah, this is exactly the same poem as her first one last time. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all, but it took you a long time to read. Ah, well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. Eh? That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest, since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Huh? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember, the poets often expresses their own thoughts, feelings and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. Hey? It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so... Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. Ah. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Mr. Sim. Me too. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice. Don't do that! Don't do that stupid music. Please, don't. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is the literature club after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up with getting myself into. Across the room, Monika is writing something in her notebook. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language, eh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. It's just meant... the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but I really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Monika liked it, and InstaSim did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect that to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring. Which I haven't yet. And InstaSim liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh! I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Eh? That's not what I... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Insism appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours. And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. God, they're arguing more than they were before. Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Instasim started showing up. Oh god, I'm better. Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. Taking out your own insecurities on others like that. You really act as young as you look, Natsuki. Me? Look at who's talking. You wanna be energy... Please don't do that. Edgy? Sorry that my lifestyle is too much for someone of your mental age to comprehend. See? Just saying that proves my point. What the hell's going on? Most people learn to get over themselves after they graduate middle school, you know. If you want to prove anything, stop harassing others with your sickening attitude. You think that you can counterbalance your toxic personality just by dressing and acting cute. The only cute thing about you is how hard you try. Oh, be careful or you might cut yourself on the edge, Yuri. Oh my bad, you already do, don't you? Did you just accuse me of cutting myself? What the fuck is wrong with your head? Yeah, go on, let Insistim hear everything you really think. I'm sure he'll be head over heels for you after this. Ah! Suddenly Yuri turns toward me as if she just noticed I was standing there. Insistim? She's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true, she started it. Oh god, what's going on? What the hell? Ah! Yuri. What the fuck's going on? What? I don't know what's going on. The fuck is this? Taking headphones off because I see something happening. I can't click anything. What the hell's going on? Ah! Hey Instasim. Why don't we step outside for a little bit? Okay? Oh! What the fuck just happened? Sorry about that. They really shouldn't have tried to get you involved. It's probably better for us to stay out of this. We'll go back inside once they're done yelling. Some president I am, right? I can't even confront my own club members properly. Oh, I just wish I was able to be a little more assertive sometimes. But I never have it in me to put my foot down against others. You understand, right? Anyway, if this makes you want to spend less time with the others, then that's fine. I'd be happy to spend time with you instead. Suddenly Natsuki runs out of the classroom. She quickly runs away. What? Oh dear. Well, it looks like they're done. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Yuri is rocking back and forth on her desk with her palms on her forehead. Yuri? I didn't mean it. I believe you. I have no idea what Yuri might have said to Natsuki, or did. Instasim, please don't hate me. Please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. We know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget all about it by tomorrow. Completely. Anyway, the meeting is over, so you can go home now if you want. Yuri looks at me like she wants to say something, but she keeps glancing at Monika. You can go first, Monika. I'd like to stay for a bit longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done. Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take that responsibility today. It kind of sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. It's not that. I didn't get much of a chance to discuss my book with InstaSim. It would just be embarrassing with you listening. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I'm sorry for causing trouble. Ugh! Oh, this is getting weird. This is getting really weird. Oh. Anyway, I think that's the end of the day. So I'm going to end that episode there. I don't want to though. I want to see what happens. But I also don't. Oh. Anyway. My mind is trying to comprehend what's going on, and I don't think it can. So I'm going to end that episode there, and then in the next episode we'll figure out what's actually going on here, because it's freaking weird. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of Doki Doki Literature Club. As horrifying as it is, I really hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to hit that like button, because my brain needs it. Comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel because it will really help me out a lot and you get more videos like this. Also, don't forget to like my Facebook page on Twitter and on Twitch. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. But until then, goodbye.